Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. This weather is starting to heat up. We're going into the hundreds today. All right, so let's just begin by centering ourselves and bringing our attention inward. Just letting go of the outside distractions and even the internal distractions. Close the eyes. The spine grow a little bit longer. Palms face up. Do you need some receiving? Face down if you'd like some grounding. Letting the inhalation flow deeply into the belly, through the nose. Out the belly, out the nose. Letting the breath flow long and slow. We are going to start with a breath practice, pranayama, alternate nostril breathing. So we're going to use if you want to flutter your eyes open, use your right hand and two pointer finger and middle finger. It's going to go on your forehead. Ring finger and your thumb is your alternating the nostrils. And so we'll start with placing our fingers on top of our forehead, our third eye. Close off the right nostril with the thumb. We're going to inhale into the left nostril at a count of 4. Close off the left nostril, exhaling out the right at a count of 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Close off the right, exhale out the left. 2, 3, 4. That's one full round, so we'll continue. Inhale into the left. 2, 3, 4. Close off the left, exhale out the right. 2, 3, 4. Inhale right. 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. 2, 3, 4. Continuing on your own, letting the breath flow in softly, not with strain. Knowing that if maybe one of our nostrils is clogged, just imagine the breath flowing out or in. We use this alternate nostril breathing to calm our nervous system. Two more rounds. When you've finished your 2 rounds, you can place your hands back on your thigh. Keep the breath flowing in slowly through the nose and in through the nose. Just noticing any sensations or effects of this pranayama. You can keep those eyes closed or the gentle gaze toward the top of your mat. I'm just going to bring in an intention or sankalpa. Maybe it's a positive affirmation that you've been working with. You can use this statement and fill in the blank as well. I am, and then you fill in the blank. Maybe a word that's going to come to your mind right this moment. Allow. And we'll use this intention throughout practice today. Repeat the intention to yourself one time. And gently allow the right ear to come toward the right shoulder. As you exhale, bring the chin down toward the chest, rolling the chin across the collarbone to the other side. Taking a full inhalation here on the left. Exhale slowly across to the other side, staying with your breath. Let the breath guide this movement as this is your practice. The shoulders stay soft. As your ear makes its way back toward the right side, take 3 inhalations and exhalations here. Shoulders are soft. On that third exhalation, let the chin drop down toward the chest, rolling across toward the other side. 3 inhalations and exhalations here. As you finish those 3 rounds, slowly bring the head back to center. Let the palms face up on your thighs, just to observe any sensations through the neck and the shoulders. Maybe you feel releasing of tension. Maybe notice if you're staying with your inhalations and exhalations, letting them flow deeply into the lungs. So you feel that belly expand on the inhalation. Exhalation, belly descends. Place our hands by our sides. Eyes can be closed or gentle gaze. Sweeping the hands up overhead. Exhale your right hand down toward the mat, left hand overhead, gazing straight out or gaze up toward the sky. As that right hand is on the floor, let the pressure be gentle, not like you're pushing into the earth. Just a gentleness in the shoulders as you open up this side body. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale to the other side. Leaving both sit bones evenly on the floor. Keeping the breath long. Inhale, sweep the arms back up overhead. Exhale back to the other side. This time, gaze can be straight out or gazing toward the earth. And just notice what feels best in your neck and shoulders. Just helping release that tension, the stress, the week. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale to the other side. As we move through these postures today, we're creating balance in the body. Stay with your breath. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Fingertips meet as you exhale your hands down through heart center. Thumbs stop at the sternum. You can gaze past the fingertips, or you can let your palms face up on your thighs. Just to observe those sensations through the side body. You expand the ribs, strengthening the lungs. And fluttering the eyes open, we're going to come to a flat bottom. So bring your feet together for Buddha Konasana. Heels can come close as you'd like to your bottom. Spine is nice and tall. You can grab your big toes, or you can just place your hands on your ankles. Gaze can be at your toes or eyes closed. And just let gravity, let the knees fall where they do. Feeling that openness on the inner thighs. Stay with your breath. If you'd like a little more sensation on the inner thighs, you can place your hands on the floor. Spine is still nice and long. And then hinge at the hips as you bring your chest toward your feet. The shoulders stay soft. Noticing as the sensations arise, can you stay with the breath? We'll inhale up halfway. As you exhale, walk your fingertips toward the right side. Both hands are either side of your knee. And then as you twist, you're going to let your belly button come toward your thigh. Exhale, slowly let your chest come toward the thigh. Both sit bones are on the floor evenly. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the other side. And twisting at the waist. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale back to center. Exhale, fold forward just slight. Keep those shoulder blades together. Inhale, rising. Take your hands underneath your knees and just gently bring them up. Place your feet as wide as your mat. Then we're just going to do some windshield wipers. So place your hands behind your back and let your knees just fall slowly from one side to the other. Moving at your own pace. Do 2 more times on each side. And then as we come out of this, let's come back into our easy pose. So crisscross those feet. So we're just going to bring some more blood flow to our wrists. So bring the top of the hands together, and then just rotate your wrist in a circular motion. And close the eyes or gaze at the fingertips. Going in the opposite direction. And then wiggle those fingers. And place our hands on our knees. Just close the eyes and just observe any sensations through the body. Notice the thoughts coming into the mind and just come back to that breath. So we stay in this moment. Appreciate all that we have, all the movement that we can do. And then you'll flutter your eyes open. We're going to come on to our tabletop. So if you want to place a blanket underneath your knees, give you some extra cushioning. Make your knees below your hips. Let your fingers spread wide. Shoulders are over the wrists. Your toes can be on the floor or let the tops of your feet just rest on the mat. Feel the navel come to the spine into your tabletop. Spread those fingers even wider, pressing all 4 corners of the palm into the mat. Imagining your palm is that suction cup, and you're just pushing it all the way down. On the inhalation, let the head rise, belly drop for cow. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin for cat. Moving with your own breath, keeping your own pace. Inhale. Exhale. As you feel ready, we'll meet back in our tabletop. We're going to bring our right leg behind us, toes are on the floor. And then walk those toes toward the left side. Feeling that through your right hip. Let's inhale, bring that leg back out, hovering over the ground, all the way out to the right. And then exhale, bring it to the left. Oop. And then just move slowly with your breath. And move the gaze with your foot. And let the foot drag across the floor if you don't want to let the foot hover off of the floor. Let's do 3 more rounds here. Toes are pointed down. As you've completed your 3 rounds, we'll bring that foot, toe behind us. Toes are on the floor. Slowly bring your knee to the mat. We're going to into a wide-legged child pose. So bring the toes together, knees are wide, and then slowly sit back towards your heels. You can bring your hands on top of each other, letting your forehead soften toward the hands. Or if you want to use your block. Other option for child's pose is to place a block underneath your bottom and your heel. Just choosing what feels best in your body, knowing there's always options. Just trying out what feels good, and if that doesn't work, try something different. Notice if you're staying with your breath here. Breathing in through the nose, deep into the belly. Exhaling out the belly, out the nose. Coming back up onto all fours. Spreading those fingers nice and wide. Knees go back underneath your hips. We're going to do the other side. So stepping that left leg back behind us, toes are on the floor. Feeling that heel push back. And then slowly walking those toes toward the right side. And gaze at the toe. As you exhale, let the toe go to the left side. And just moving at your own pace with your breath. Toes can be glided across the floor or hovering for a little more above the ground. Other challenging is to let the gaze be toward the toes as you move through this, or you can just gaze at one point on the floor. Opening up those hips. And that strength through the core and your thighs. Two more rounds. And you can go into your wide-legged child's pose, or if you want to change it up and put your knees together or a child's pose, that's an option as well. Just choosing what feels best in your body as you slowly lower yourself to your child's pose. The shoulders soften. Noticing where your thoughts are going. Come back to your breath. Bring that intention back into your awareness. Slowly rising to our tabletop. Just to curl the toes, coming into a downward facing dog. Let your feet be as wide as your hips. Maybe even beginning to pedal the feet out, bending one knee, then the other. As this was our first downward dog of the day, Uddha Mukha Konasana. Let those fingers continue to spread wide. Coming into a stillness in this downward facing dog, gazing at the navel. Let's take 3 inhalations and exhalations here. Begin to walk your feet to meet your hands, so you can remove your blanket from your mat. You'll come into a forward fold at the top of the mat. Arms are dangled, feet are as wide as your hips or a little bit wider if that feels better. And then just begin to let your hips sway from side to side. Let your arms dangle. The crown of your head is parallel to the earth, top of the head. Maybe sway your head back and forth like no. Maybe sway your foot up and down for yes. Just notice what feels best. Making a micro bend in those knees. Tuck your chin and slowly round up, bringing our head all the way up. Let the head come up last. As we come into our Tadasana, mountain pose, hands are by your sides. The shoulders stay soft. Feel your right foot grounding into the mat. And your left foot. And just notice how this feels in your body in this stillness. Do you feel like you just need to move, or can you be still? Knowing it's okay. I'm going to sweep the hands up overhead. We're going to have that right hand grab the left. And then bringing your left hip out, slowly opening up that left side of the body. Leaning your hands toward the right. As we gaze straight out, let the shoulders stay soft. Noticing if your shoulders are rolling forward, let your shoulders stack over those hips. Bring those shoulder blades closer together. As you feel ready, release the hands. Palms are by your sides. In our Tadasana, feel the inhalation flow in, the exhalation flow out. Just observe those sensations through that left side of the body. Inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. Now this time, grabbing the left hand with your right, grab your right hand with your left wrist. And slowly bring your hands toward the left, hip to the right. Again, keeping your shoulder blades together so you're opening up the chest and the side body. Noticing how this feels in your neck. Stay with your breath. Inhale, come back to center. Hands are parallel. The fingertips meet, coming down through heart center. Palms by your sides. Find your Tadasana. Let's inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Micro bend in those knees. Inhale the hands to the shins. Make the spine nice and long. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the hands up and out overhead. Fingertips meet, slight back bend, gazing up toward the sky. Shoulders are soft. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Gaze past the fingertips. And just notice how this feels in your body. Noticing how this feels in your shoulders. Really opening up that chest. Let's do that 2 more times. One, we're going to do it together. And the last one, we're going to have you flow on your own. So inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Micro bend in those knees. Inhale the hands to the shin, make the spine nice and long. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the hands up and out overhead. Engagement in the core. Let the fingertips meet, slight back bend. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Gaze past the fingertips. And when you're ready, continue on your own. Inhale. Exhale. Going at your own pace. This is your practice. And gaze past the fingertips. So let the palms come to your sides. And just observing the sensations through your body. Let's build some heat in our body. So bend into those knees, make your feet parallel. We're coming into Utkatasana or chair pose. So feel those heels ground into the mat. We're going to start with our hands parallel in front of us so palms are facing each other. And as you bend into your knees, bending into your chair, feel your shoulders soften. Maybe roll them up to your ears and then roll them back. And stay right here. If you want a little bit more, you can bring the arms up towards your ears. Sit a little bit deeper. Feel that engagement in your core, navel to spine. Noticing as the heat in your body arises, can you continue to keep that breath nice and long? Stay with the breath. Exhale your hands, release the knees, finding your Tadasana. Notice if you're just exhaling all of that prana out that you've just created. So keep the flow of breath even as it comes in and out. I'm going to do that one more time. So bend into those knees. Hands can be parallel or up by your ears. Just noticing what feels best in your shoulders, your neck. Navel to spine. Let's bring our hands together and coming to our heart center. We're going to twist. So we're going to bring your right hand forward, left hand back. So you can gaze toward the front fingers or the back, whatever feels best for your balance. Inhale back to center, hands together at prayer. Exhale to the other side, keeping both feet evenly grounded into the earth. Inhale back to center. Let the breath guide the movement. Let's finish up with 3 more rounds. Really building that heat in your body. Keep your breath nice and long on the inhalation and the exhalation. Meeting the hands at heart center when you finish your 3 rounds. Sit a little bit deeper, take a big breath in. And as you slowly breathe out your nose, release the legs and release the arms. Finding a point on the floor to gaze at or straight out. And step our right foot back into our Virabhadrasana 2. So that back foot's parallel to the back of the mat. Making the stance wide enough so that when we bend into that front knee, it's going to go over the ankle. Let's start with our hands on our hips before we bend that front knee. Noticing if the navel's to the spine. Notice if your hips feel one's higher than the other, maybe wiggle them back and forth so that one feels higher than the other. And then you're going to gaze at your front heel and your back arch. You want them to line up. So just making that slight adjustment if you need to move your back foot just a little bit. Let's bring your heel over just a little bit. Yeah, beautiful. So point your toe, you point your toes a little bit more. There you go. We're going to inhale, bend the knee towards the toes. Exhale, straighten. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees toward the toes. Inhale. This time as you bend the knees, stay here. Knees toward the toes. And then if you feel a little bit more, spread the arms out wide into a T, into full expression of Virabhadrasana 2. You're gazing at that middle finger, your drishti point. Feel your right pinky toe ground toward the mat. Feeling those muscles in the thighs wrap around the bone. Place your hands on our hips. Step that back foot to meet the front. Find your Tadasana. Pausing at the top, just to observe the sensations through the body from this pose on this side. Notice where the mind wanders to. Come back to your breath. We'll move to the left side, so stepping our left foot back. Again, parallel to the back of the mat for Virabhadrasana 2 on the left side. We're going to gaze at that front heel and that back arch, making sure that they line up, making a straight line from your back of your heel to the back of your arch, the middle of your arch. Hands are on your hips. Again, checking to see if your hips feel even. And then we're going to breathe. Inhale, bringing the knee forward. Exhale, straighten. Again, if our knee goes past the ankle, then we can bring that back foot a little bit further for a stronger stance. On this third breath, you can bring that knee over the ankle. Stay here. Sweep your arms out into a T or stay where you are, gazing at your front fingertips. Stay with the breath. Feel those shoulder blades come a little bit closer together, opening up the chest. As we release the pose, hands comes to the hips, step that back foot to meet the front. Find your Tadasana, pausing at the top of your mat, just to observe, observing with non-judgment. Observe with just being here in this moment right now. Can you pause, not worrying what's going to happen next? We're going to go back into your Virabhadrasana 2. Start with the hands on the hips. Step your right foot back. And again, gaze at the floor just to check your heel and your arch. Are they lined up? Bend into that front knee. Expand the arms. Virabhadrasana 2. Feeling the right pinky toe ground into the mat. Gazing at that front fingertips. We're going to go into eagle arm, so that front arm is going to wrap around the back. Into eagle arms, yep. There you're doing, yep. The front. Yep. There you go. And we're going to gaze toward this side wall. Beautiful. We're going to inhale, let the elbows come up. Exhale, let the elbows fall. Notice how when you're moving the arms up, that tension rises. Just go as much as it feels good. Feel the navel to the spine. Next time your elbows go up, leave them there. Stay with your breath. Sweep the arms out into your Virabhadrasana too. Gazing at that front fingertips. Bring your hands to your hips, step your back foot to meet your front. Palms are by your sides. Notice how your shoulders are. Are they up towards your ears? Can you soften them? Can you feel your heels grounding into the mat? Maybe even wiggle the toes. Other side, step that left foot back parallel to the back of the mat. Before we bend that knee, hands are on the hips. Maybe wiggle them back and forth. Check that back arch and front heel are lined up. And then bend the knee toward the toes. Arms come wide. Feel those shoulder blades come a little bit closer together. We're gazing at that middle finger, our drishti point. Continuing to keep the inhalation and exhalation long. Left pinky toe grounding toward the mat. Eagle arms, sweeping that front arm under the back. On the inhalation, the elbows come up. Exhalation, the elbows come down. Notice and you feel the heat rising in your body. And at the same time, stay with your breath. One last time, letting those elbows stay up there. I'm going to take 3 inhalations and exhalations here. Sweeping the arms out into your T. And step that back foot to meet your front. Palms are by your sides for your Tadasana to observe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Gazing up toward the ceiling. We'll bend forward. As our hands come down, slowly walk your feet back. You can come into a push-up or you can let your knees just be on the floor. Yogi's choice. Your knees can be on the floor or you can be off your knees. Taking an inhalation in, spread those fingers wide. Exhale out the mouth with the tongue out. And then, beautiful. Let's do that two more times. Inhale. Lion's breath. And then we're going to slowly lower our chest down. So you can bring your elbows close to your sides. Keeping your hands by your sides. Toes are together. Forehead is on the mat. We're really feeling those elbows squeezing into the center. Inhale your head up for baby cobra. Feeling that lower back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale. Inhale this time and stay here. Stay with your breath. You're gazing straight out. Keep those elbows close in, squeeze them in. Yep, there you go. As we slowly lower the forehead down, you can bring your hands on top of each other for a crocodile. Let your feet become wide now. Let your forehead rest on those hands. Allowing the shoulders to soften into the earth. All your hips. We're going to come up onto our forearms where our arms are parallel. Let your legs still be parallel. So your shoulders are underneath your elbows. You're gazing straight out. We're going to let that left hand become at a 45-degree angle across our mat so that we can use this right hand to bring your left leg up and then slowly grab the ankle. And then bringing your heel to your bottom, feeling that on the top of your thigh. You can keep your foot at a 90-degree angle. Really stretching that quad. If you aren't able to touch your ankle, that's okay. Just bringing the arm back, let the heel come toward the bottom as much as it will. We'll slowly release that, bringing both hands parallel toward each other. Just pause here for 3 breaths. Noticing if your shoulders are beginning to creep up towards your ears. Let's soften them. Now allow the left hand to come at a 45-degree angle as you bring your right foot up toward the sky, and then grabbing that ankle and then bring the heel towards your bottom. Keeping your foot at a 90-degree angle. Stay with your breath here, noticing as the heat rises, you are able to stay with your breath. Slowly release that. Bring both hands parallel. Feet are wide, gazing straight out or a few inches above your fingertips. We'll slowly lower that forehead down. And just roll over to your back. Keeping your feet on the floor. Put your hands by your sides. Feel your shoulders soften into the mat, your hips. Notice if you're connected to your breath. We're going to bring those knees into our chest. So you can put your hands around your chins or the back of your legs, and then just rock from side to side, giving your lower back a nice little massage, maybe creating circles with your knees. Going in one direction and the other. And then we're going to bring our hands out to a T and let their knees fall toward the right. If you feel a little crunch in that right shoulder, you can lift the shoulder up just to lay it back down to open up the chest a little bit more. Maybe close the eyes. Using the strength of the core, bring the knees back to center. Exhale to the other side. Again, checking that left shoulder, you can lift it up and then gently bring it back down. Open up that chest more. The gaze be soft, your eyes closed. As you feel ready and even on each side, slowly bring the knees back to center and just rock back and forth or take a happy baby by grabbing your ankles or your big toes. Let your knees splay out. Staying with your breath. And then we'll bring those feet back down, slowly lowering your legs nice and long. Arms are by your sides, finding our resting pose or shavasana. So if you'd like a bolster underneath your knees and you don't have one, I'm happy to get you one. If you'd like a blanket over your body, a blanket underneath your head, just making yourself as comfortable as possible. Now we rest. You take this time here after all this movement to let our body rest and heal.
Take a big breath in through the nose. Sigh it out. Feeling the whole body. Just begin melting into the earth. Let those thoughts melt down to Gently begin wiggling your toes and fingers, coming back to the body. When you feel ready, you can roll onto your right side, bend the knees, keeping the eyes closed. Maybe let your right ear rest on your right arm. Bringing your intention back into your awareness. And just notice if it still serves you. If it doesn't, let it go. Use the strength of the arms to gently push your way back up to a comfortable seat, keeping the eyes closed or a gentle gaze toward the earth. Find a bolster to sit on or a blanket if that feels comfortable. And for the next 60 seconds, we're going to be paying attention to our breath, being mindful of our breath, disengaging from the mind. Palms can rest face down for some grounding or face up for receiving. Feel your spine elongate a little bit more. Feel the breath travel in through the nose, deep into your belly, feeling the belly expand out. As you exhale, the belly goes in and the breath flows out through the chest, out the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Noticing as thoughts or sensations in the body arise. Let your breath anchor you. Staying with your breath. Bring the hands together at heart center as we end that practice. Knowing we take these pauses just to observe and be in this moment. Knowing that we can pause before we react. That when we find that balance, we can live a little more peacefully within ourselves and spread peace to others. Love, light, peace within me honors the love, light, peace within each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you.